Hey, hey, ho, ho, welcome to the show. Hey, 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 ho, ho, welcome. Alright. Welcome, everybody, to Arthur the Creepypasta. I literally looked this. I didn't think there's actually an Arthur Creepypasta, but it just popped in my head that, it would be really funny if there was a creepypasta about that one Arthur show. I can't fucking believe this actually exists. Arthur, the lost episode. Arthur is a kid's TV show that's been around since the late 90s. This isn't me just adding context. Apparently, it's just creepypastas like to add context nowadays. It's one of the weirdest reality-based shows that sets examples for kids. I grew up with it and I'm still watch it on weekday mornings when I don't have school. This story, though, will explain what has soured me from buying other old episodes on tape. I had written this description of the episode a few years back and left it on my computer. After much thought, I've decided to release it, because see something weird on TV? Let's write a description about it. Pure detail, lots of detail. The story, May 10th, 2009. I wish this tape had survived long enough for me to get some screenshots from it, but alas, the film tore badly, and during repairs I lost all but 5 minutes of the episode. This is going to make it hard for me to make a thumbnail. The tape was bought secondhand about a month ago from my normal secondhand media store. Didn't need to put... The tape was bought secondhand from my secondhand media store, of course. The corner store. For those who don't live in central Alberta, it's an old music store that became a secondhand book movie store some time ago. I had almost bought 100 VHS tapes from him, all of which worked fine, except for this one. I bought this tape because I'm trying to find the old episodes of Arthur again, to bring back good memories. Ooh, memories. I love that show, and still watch it to this day. Hopefully not the newer ones. As all should know, they still make it, and the new ones are nothing to brag about. Exactly. The animation looks cheap. Yes. Rather rushed. Exactly. Stories are dull. Of course. And the focus on mental illness in children feels out of place. Okay, I didn't know about that, but characters have changed. The bullies are now good guys. Francine is more of a bitch, and DW no longer has moments that make her seem more than a spoiled brat. The show has been ruined. To escape this mess, I went out to buy some old episodes on tape. Here you go. Home recordings were of particular interest, so I could see some of the old commercials I had aired at the time. I bought about $5 worth of old tapes, each at 50 cents. That's a fucking steal, dude. They all seemed fine. Each was labeled with episode times, recording dates, and timestamps. The one that caught my eye was the title, Death of Grandma. Ooh, Grandma's gonna die! Grandma's gonna die, man! Recorded on March 5th, 1998, with a lone timestamp, 1524, lost the channel. Well, I mean, it's not like it's hard to find the channel when you're watching it. Channel? You had to have been recording it, but whatever. It was an episode I did not know from an air date that seemed almost too old to be trusted. I noticed the title had been written on a patch of whiteout. It's a little weird. I decided against scraping it off. Perhaps it was a recording of something in the people's lives. I decided to watch it first. What? Okay. The beginning of the opening of Arthur, this theme sounded a bit tinny, probably due to bad recording equipment. The tape had issues that troubled me, mainly the tracking. I just couldn't get it to stop being jumpy and it awkward to watch! Exclamation mark. I eventually gave up, leaving it where there was a line of fuzz across the top, and sat down. There was no opening title for the episode. It showed the Elwood City Hospital. That's where they fucking live. I completely forgot. Something I wasn't... I'm nostalging just reading about this freaking creepypasta. Something I wasn't familiar with. The sad music was playing. The only one car in the parking lot was the Reeds. Okay. It cut to Arthur and DW in the waiting room. Arthur was reading a scare your pants off book while DW pestered him about the story. The volume was bad, making it hard for me to listen to. But I'll do my best to recreate what they were saying. Gonna have to break out those impressions. Why won't you play with me? Yep, best fucking DW impression, 10 out of 10. Why won't you play with me, Arthur? I'm bored. Why are we even here? DW? Shut up, DW! I'm trying to read. The parents came down the hall. The mom was crying and the dad looked shocked. DW ran to them. Shut up, D. That actually was a little mean. Come on, Arthur. Let's not be dicks here. Asking why Arthur was ignoring her. The dad told her to sit down. Now, kids, I'm afraid that we won't be seeing Grandma Thora again. She's gone to a better place. See, you know what? This is kind of a slap in the face to how good. I mean, Arthur's writing was really good, you know. They would never say someone's death that she's gone to a better place. They'd come up with like a really good freaking analogy for it or something. Good. If you want some good Arthur, look up April 9th, I think it was called. He broke into tears. As always, the voice acting pretty on fleek. Arthur dropped his book in shock and stared. They sat there unmoving, the tape rippling with static as the parents' crying looped over and over. It cut to them at home. The mom was talking on the phone, looking sad, but acting professional. DW was staring at the TV, but it was a black screen. What the fuck, dude? Baby Kate was just sitting there, unmoving. Alright, the dad was making a wedding cake. Did the dad have a name? Can't remember. His face grim. The doorbell rang and Arthur opened the door. It was Buster. Hey, damn it. What does Buster sound like? You sure the internet? Nope. You sure the internet? Hey, I heard what happened. You want to go down to the Sugar Bowl and talk? And then, sure. I don't know impressions, dude. I can't do it. The shot of the Sugar Bowl appeared, but there was no music, only wind blowing. I noticed it was fall in the episode, as dead leaves littering the ground. Arthur and Buster were sitting there, not talking, not moving. It reminded me of the still frames that something appeared in the old TMNT show. Buster spoke, but his mouth was not moving, and with the words at all. Buster. We should go do something fun to cheer ourselves up. Arthur just stared at him, eyes blank. It jumped suddenly to a funeral. Everyone is in black. That's a fucking cut if I've ever heard one. There was no music, only crying. The casket was pure white, draped in flowers. It showed Arthur, his face wet with tears, before the imagination sound cue came in. The casket opened and it wasn't Grandma Thora, but inside, his mom. Her face was heavily wrinkled, like in the episode where DW got lost in the mall and was thinking about what life would be like without her. Her teeth were showing, and the color was off, being a bit more yellow than the normal white. Her eyes suddenly opened, and they were not human, but rather button black eyes of Arthur's stuffed little bear Stanley. He screamed and everyone vanished, leaving him alone in the church. The walls fell in, exposing a black, streaked red eye sky with my little boy. DW's laughter could be heard. The villain is DW. High and rapid. There was a loud bang and the images stopped. Arthur was sitting there with his face pale. His mom was whispering something to Dad. DW was crying. They were walking in a single file line to the coffin, just like the fucking dead Bart creepypasta. As Arthur got closer, you could hear the sound of buzzing of flies. Buzz. Buzz, that's my fly noise. I'll give you guys context as things are going on. He swallowed and wiped his eyes. Flip, flip. The coffin lid was open. He looked in and there was a shot of his face. He was enraged. Grrr! There was a shot of light and the sound was gone. Suddenly, they were in the car again. The episode ends as for commercials. Wait, seriously, it already ended? Oh man, that was like 5 minutes, dude. As for the commercials, they weren't anything amazing. Just some ads for Chick-fil-A and KSPS. Don't know what KSPS is. The next part did have a title, Recovery. It was written on a plain white background. I could hear DW screaming, like Arthur when he punched her. Like when Arthur punched her before the episode started up. The family was at home. It seemed a continuation of the previous part. DW was in her room, solemnly playing with her dolls, and the parents were reminiscing over pictures, and Arthur was in the room. When Pal came in and started barking, went to play, Arthur got up and kicked the dog. Sparked the dog. I don't know what I'm fucking talking about. He kept kicking. The soundtrack now consists of Pal's yelps before slamming the door shut. Damn! Kate started crying. Arthur grits his teeth in the food too. No, this seems more like fucking, edgy Arthur. Like if a fucking someone on Newgrounds made an Arthur game where you just kicked Pal. It seems like something that would happen. He walked past. In the next scene, It showed Arthur that it was nighttime. As Arthur crept out of his room with his backpack on his shoulder, he walked past Pal, who whined and drew away before grabbing his coat and sneaking out. He ran for a full 3 minutes, the streets all in shadow. There was music, very soft, normal happy music, that we all know from the show. That ended though when he ran into the graveyard. He stopped at his grandma's grave, staring at it. There's an owl hooting. He started digging, crying out in pain. His bare hands soon slicked in dark blood, and he stopped, finding the coffin. He was crying now. Weep. The coffin opened, and Arthur was inside it. His eyes were closed, his glasses shattered. His family gathered. I got a little carried away in there. Staring down and crying, Kate was screaming, and for whatever reason, DW threw Pal into the open grave for some reason. Okay? It just seems stupid. Although his body was unmoving, there was a still of him running. The screen went black, and there was a low sound that rose to a high chatter. Blomp. It was the Tibbles laughing. Haha, we're the Tibbles. We're like weird fucking rabbit creatures. The grave started to spin in empty space, opening and sucking the world into it. It just seems so weird. I could hear DW yelling, "Kate did it! Kate did it on DW!" over and over again, mixed with Pal's cries of pain. Arf! Stanley appeared, spiraling down through the blackness. His head tore off, and the cartoony organs from the episode where Arthur cut his knee started trailing out from the body. There was a series of loud thuds. There are my loud thuds, and it showed Arthur again, sitting there in the sugar bowl. Sugar bowl. That's kind of a weird name. Buster was unmoving. It's just everything doesn't move in this freaking creepypasta. Buster was unmoving on the floor beside the booth, his eyes gone. The red socket started to stream blood, and Arthur screamed in rage. There were a few light flashes, and it showed him in prison, wearing the black and white clothing the show always used. His face covered in scars they showed on bad guys sometimes. His last words were louder than the other speech clips. You're gonna have to get into edgy Arthur territory. "I killed them all! I've eaten Kate's brains! I stabbed DW! DW! I killed my dog! My parents ate poison! But I didn't do it! She did it! Thora did it! She made me kill them!" It went to the credits, and it was normal cheery music. Yeah, Arthur is apparently Scottish or something. It went to the credits, and it was the normal cheery music. Stunned, I went to rewind the tape to see what I just saw. Was it real, or was it fantasy? When I tried to rewind this video, the tape seized up, so I took the tape and opened it up. The film had an inch from one reel all the way down to a few inches from the other one. Either I had just witnessed one of the worst things to ever be associated with a children's cartoon, or I'm just off my nut. I'm off my nut, guys. Off my nut. Whoa, I will never know. I remember it pretty well, though, suggesting it was real. I mean, I think I remember it. It was probably real then. If this was made by some sick fuck, you can't just be like, "I'm off my nut," and then go on to say, "sick fuck." Like, off my nut? What does that even mean? That makes you sound like a 12-year-old in the 1980s. I gave them a thumbs up, making something that seemed so real, like as if it was part of the actual series. I don't think that usually happens in the series. Like, you know, things tend to move more in the actual series. After all, the video had never cut out like it said on the tape, unless it had on what had originally been recorded. But now I think of it, since the show always covers very real topics, could this have been a real episode only aired once? I very much doubt it. They did one on DW's bird dying, but never one on abuse or anything. If it was a real episode, and I almost hope it is, why would you hope it is? I'm intrigued, and I never want to see it again, to prove myself I'm not going mad, otherwise known as going off my nut. I mean, this was fun. I want to see if there is a video of it, so let's see if there's a video. I want to see Arthur last episode. I'll leave this a dislike. Welp, I guess that's it, everybody. Be sure to like, favorite, comment, subscribe. Do they have favorites anymore? Actually, I mean, you know. This was a pretty short episode, but, you know, whatever. I mean, there's not a lot of actual, like, meat to this pasta, so I'm gonna give it a 10 and just leave it at that. So, love you all. Smooches. Mwah. And I will see all you in the next video. Goodbye.